Oh, it is about money.
Go back to Zoom. What's up, folks? Yeah, we live now. Go back to, got the record.
Oh, it is about money.
No. What's up, folks? Welcome to the DG Show with Dana and Coco. We're getting it together right now. Give us 1 second. Give us 1 second. Am I recording?
Oh, it is about money.
What's up, folks? Welcome to the DG Show with Dana and Coco. We're getting it together right now. Let me mute this. Give us 1 second. Give us 1 second. I know, but I can mute this. Am I recording? I don't need to. They can hear me, but I don't need to hear back.
You sure?
I'm muting the mic, huh?
Yep.
Give us 1 second. Give us 1 second. I know, but I can mute this. I don't need feedback from the. They can hear me, but I don't need to hear back.
They can't hear you.
The mic, huh? It was on though. It is a delay. Give us 1 second. Give us 1 second.
It's not gonna work.
I'm with you, but when I just said they can hear me, but I just said they can hear me, but I can't, or something like that, and I hadn't muted it yet. It is a delay. I'm with you, but when I just said they can hear me, but that was muted. I just said they can hear me, but I can't, or something like that, and I hadn't muted it yet. It is a delay. And then when I cut it back on, and that's when I'm with you. Find my YouTube, The Angry Black Dude, and listen to it. What's up, folks? Welcome to the DG Show with Dana and Coco. 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Trying to find my seat. Where you at? There you go. Oh, go outside the other room and look for 80, because it's going to be feedback. I just want to know if you can hear me right now. All right.
You can plug it out.
You go ahead and bring the table up.
I got to figure it out. It's flipped. There we go. Yeah, it is. All right.
You can put the phone like you normally would.
Just let me know if you can hear me. Hey, if you hear me, say your name. I'm on. Let me know if you hear me. You got your earphones in? Or it's low, but you can hear me. You can hear me. But I don't mind the delay. Yeah. We both. We're both. I'm on mute on that. Welcome to the DG Show with Dana and Coco. We are back. This is our first in a long time, so we getting some things together. We are back in the studio. Dana be back in a minute, but we are back in the studio. It's been a long time, huh, Coco?
Yeah, a few years.
Since we've been in the studio.
Just
Give me 1 second. All right.
So I'm not gonna do this all the time.
What's going on, folks? Let's see, no, go live. It ain't gonna be no feedback.
It is gonna be feedback. It's not gonna work.
No, it's not. It's not gonna be feedback. I'm sorry. We figured some things out, folks. We are getting into, and Coco didn't like this title when I told her, what do Black women really want from Black men?
I'm good. I wrote some notes, so
Oh, shit.
I'm ready. I
Uh-oh.
didn't want to talk about it because I'm so sick of hearing y'all talking about what folk need,
What we want.
nonsense, what we want. But
Yeah.
I said, let me grab something. You see, it's a little receipt that I had here. and I wrote a couple notes down
Okay.
about some things so we can discuss it based on.
I don't
that.
see how one had to do with the other, but tie it in for me. Go ahead.
What you don't understand what?
Because you said you were going to talk about the
Those two videos.
guy in the video.
Right. And the
two-
young jock
the
video.
guys holding one man accountable to the other man, and one man was just falling back saying, just forget about it, whatever. I got that. But then you said, what do women want? So how you
How
going
about
back
that?
on us?
All right.
Why you always got to bring us back into
I'm
it?
gonna let Coco go. You ready? Or
I
you
mean-
got a couple points you want?
Go ahead.
No, I'm ready whenever you are,
Okay.
but I just want to know, you know, how we gonna do this? Like,
Okay. So we're gonna get into the first video. The first video is the young jock video.
mhm,
It's two. I want to get into the more popular one second. That was about the brother checking the other brother.
mhm.
So the young jock video, he was at Vlad TV talking. In fact, I got specifics on young
I
jock.
didn't see Young Jock video.
The
Okay.
only thing I know about Young Jock was something about a Cash App.
No, it was before the Cash App.
Oh, my
It was an
bad.
interview with Vlad. He had a Magic City hoodie on, which is a stripper joint.
Mhm.
Okay.
And these are specifics that he said.
Is your Bible study book?
This was a birthday gift.
Okay, look, Bible study book. Go ahead.
It's old. It's old.
Nice
It's
gift.
old. Right.
Okay.
Handcrafted.
No problem. I love it. Go ahead.
First show back.
I thought he went to Bible
No
study or something.
respect. No respect. You know,
Go
I
ahead.
definitely ain't go to Bible study.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, a lot of you think you can do it. This is what Young Jock said in his video. A lot of you think you can do it without us. Talking to Black women.
Mhm,
He's trying to convince Black women to carry it a certain way with Black men.
mhm.
So he says a lot of you think that you can do it without us. A lot of men, and then he flipped it and said a lot of men are not going to step up to the plate. He acknowledged that, but at the same time, he still put it back on the women to stick by brothers and to help them be better men, which I have issue with.
So he's saying stick by the guy who refuses to step up.
He's saying he's not saying that exactly, and that's in the same sentence, but yeah, he's basically saying Black women are too independent and they need to slow
We've been
down.
independent because we've had to
To
be
be.
independent.
You know, and that kills me. Go back. What you gonna say? Be strong next.
Who, me? No, I wrote down just what y'all said. I just was y'all to get into. I wrote this down. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all before you cuss me out. This is a
I'm
Young
just
Jock
asking.
saying, no, y'all owe me now. But listen, I said
They're
that.
too independent.
Listen, forced to do it by themselves.
Right.
That's what
Okay.
I did. And then I my note says he has 8 children by 4 baby mamas. So and he don't live with none of them. So he's forcing 4 families to be the
They have to
strong.
do it on their
They
own.
got to do it on their own,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So it's a manipulative thing with him saying don't do it, but he's in that position himself.
First of all, he's no spokesperson for this sort of thing. That's the first thing.
I
Right.
agree.
He's no spokesperson for this because he's not done a great job himself.
Right.
Now, I don't know a whole lot about him, except that he has 8 children by 4
Right.
different women. So I
Mhm.
really can't speak on him per se. But in response to what he said that about women being too independent, what are we supposed to do in those positions where we're
Exactly.
forced to take care of our children?
How can
By
I be?
yourself.
How can I be submissive if I have nobody to be submissive to?
I agree.
And even if you had somebody to be submissive to, what are you submitting
Many
to?
too.
Exactly.
Right. What are you exactly? I'm with you, and I'm gonna say this. We throw stuff around so much in this society that doesn't necessarily go with. We throw things that go with something else into relationships. When people say submit, what goes with it, and it's a religious basis. But when it comes out, it's marriage. It ain't living together. It ain't having a child with nobody. It's a total commitment with the creator and that couple. So when people say submissive without the backing of where it comes from,
No,
It's-
because marriage isn't for everybody.
I agree
And
with that.
everybody don't submit to the idea of marriage, what marriage is, what it,
You can
supposed
define
to
your
be.
own
You
yourself,
define
right.
it for yourself.
Right.
So being submissive, I mean, yes, it's supposed to be connected to marriage if we're talking about marriage in the biblical sense, because that's the only sense
But
that we're
it's-
talking about,
right.
are we?
But it's not, and it's not.
It's
And
not.
it's also a matter of the old construct of being a woman being in a woman's place. So it doesn't have to always be in a sense of marriage. It can be me just respecting you as a man because you're a man.
right.
you know, and being in that role as the head of the household, the head of the church, the head of this, the head of that, and being in that role. So it doesn't have to be in a marriage institution.
That's true. I agree with that. I agree. Go ahead.
The problem I have with these conversations, right? They're never balanced. Because you have so many men talking about these ideals that they've heard about.
Right.
Mind you,
They ain't
half of them
Right.
haven't seen it.
Then they think they have.
They think
They
they've
think they've
seen
seen it with their
hadn't seen it.
grandmothers and stuff.
Right. They never lived it.
Right.
They ain't been to church to know these principles that they're supposed to know.
Or even are disciplined within their own selves.
Or self-discipline.
Right.
Now, you may have seen your grandmama do something because she had a husband and she was taking care of the house. She was more than likely my grandma for some time. Sometimes she worked, but stay at home.
Right.
And so when the women did all the cooking, the cleaning, the kids and all that stuff, she was at home doing that.
That was
Right.
her
She
job.
didn't have to
That
go
was
to
her
work.
job.
I
If
agree.
we're splitting, like y'all like to do, split stuff,
Right.
and
Right.
we're both at work all day and we have the kids, then we both come
Then the
home.
household has to
So
be
we
split.
both need to cook, we both need to clean.
Exactly.
If we splitting bills, we splitting everything.
Right. And see, and I think that men get lost on, if you want a woman to submit, you definitely got to pay all the bills.
Well, it don't have nothing to do with bills.
No, in most folks' minds, it does.
In folks' minds, you need to get out of your mind.
Exactly.
That's
You
the
do what
first
fits
thing
for
you do.
you.
Get out of your
I'm
mind.
definitely.
Do what fits for your family.
Mhm.
Do what fits for you personally.
Right.
And part of this is also why men are intimidated
Mhm.
Mhm.
by women, but we don't even understand our circumstances right now, right?
Right.
So a lot of men, I hear the conversation about men being intimidated that women make more money,
Mhm.
that women are more educated, that we've had to do these things because we've had to do everything on our own
Right.
for whatever reason. Men in jail, men just not having a family because they want other
They want
men,
Right.
or just not being
Addiction.
responsible.
I mean, it's some,
Addiction.
right.
It's a number of
Of
things
reasons.
and variables that contribute to this.
Right.
But we're not getting down to the bottom line. Okay, we need to come back together.
Yeah.
The family unit
Definitely.
need to come back together.
Definitely.
That means to stop fighting each other, and whatever that looks like, and bring some balance back to the homes. Now, the pandemic had a good try at bringing balance
Yeah,
back to
because it
homes.
forced us
Because
together.
it forced us together, it
Yeah.
forced us to stay. And those who have survived, I think, have come out better. I know personally I have.
I agree. On individual basis, yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Because
Collectively, perhaps not.
no, collectively, yes, but
Mhm.
in the middle is, because what we're talking about is relationships. A lot of relationships broke up, but they probably needed to.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the house with somebody 24 hours a day for months
Mhm.
versus 12 hours a day being away from home,
Mhm.
you can deal with somebody that you don't necessarily have to be around all. You might even think you're deeply in love with them because you don't got to deal with them.
There was a
all
lot
day.
of stuff that was found out during the pandemic.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sure.
without a doubt. Without a doubt. People realize that we're not as
A
friendly
lot.
as we thought, because
Yeah.
when you're so busy working and stuff like that,
Right.
you only come together maybe 5-10 minutes every day sometimes,
Yeah,
you know?
couple
Right.
hours
We
or
realize
something.
it, but then when the pandemic is like,
We got to
I really
talk.
don't like you.
We got to talk.
Yeah.
I don't like you.
You're like, I don't
care
like
for
it that
you.
much. I just,
Right.
you found out you didn't like your kids that
The
much.
way you chew,
Yeah.
the way you move,
You
the
found
way
out that you could not teach your kids.
Ooh.
You found out you did
Yeah.
not know how to add.
you
Or
realize
subtract.
how dumb your kids
Yeah.
was. It wasn't
Right.
a teacher after all
Wasn't
these
Wasn't
a
a
years.
teacher all this time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things. So relationships either got stronger,
When they
stayed
got
the
honest
same,
with it.
weaker, and you were forced to get honest with it. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
you were
think of the
forced.
guys who couldn't go to the side chick house. She over there by herself. Oh, baby, you might have COVID. I can't come over and
Right.
bring COVID back.
Not just that.
home.
Now I can't get out the house.
I'm
Maybe
not even gonna be
sneakily
able to
got
explain
lost.
where I got COVID.
Not just where I got it from. I can't disappear for
I
4 or
can't.
5 hours.
I
I can't say I'm
leave
going to the
alone.
bar to chill with my boys.
Where am I going for 4 or 5 hours?
Right, your excuse is going.
The
Yeah.
excuses don't.
But,
So-
but I think also going back to what we were talking about before, also, that word submit is such a loaded word.
It is. I agree.
For
And
these people.
Right,
it's
and for
loaded.
people to not understand what exactly that means,
Right.
behind it, what it entails and the
Right.
responsibility you have behind it. So I think people think as submit as, me and you, husband and wife, and you, the husband,
Do what
tell
I
me what I
say.
say,
Right.
when I say it, blah, 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 but not
Mhm.
understanding the responsibility behind it. Also for a man to be strong enough to say, you know what,
To delegate.
to delegate and say, this is not my strongest point.
Right.
Checkbooking and everything, keeping for the
Let her
finance.
do that.
You do that, baby, because that's your gift.
Mhm.
That's what you
Right.
do. That's what you're strong in. And also being able to accept the responsibility that if you have the final say, you
Yeah.
also have the final
You gotta
responsibility
eat it.
if it doesn't succeed,
I
if it
agree.
doesn't work.
Right.
So a lot of men aren't prepared to do that piece of it. Don't call me when they fail, boo. Don't do that.
What comes with
You
it?
did that.
But
It comes with it.
and it's not just a woman submitting to her man. He must also submit to his wife.
I agree.
It's not one-sided.
It's not one-sided, but the way
The way
Western
y'all
society,
think about it.
it's Western. No, it's a lot of women that think this way too. We're not gonna act like it's just men
Some.
thinking this way,
Some.
because that's the way a lot of us were raised, with that perception that that's what it meant. And back in the day, it did mean more.
A
of
lot
that.
of us was
But see-
raised with nobody
see,
in the house. What do you
That's-
mean?
I-
But see, y'all
agree.
double
With that
standard. Y'all want
perception.
both things, and I'm trying not to cuss.
Y'all was raised
Trying
with
not
an
to.
Yeah,
idea.
I'm on live
Because y'all want a woman to submit.
right.
Y'all want that woman that's, relying on you, whatever.
Mhm.
But then when a woman comes to you and says she wants this, this, and that
Right.
financially from you, then she's a gold digger.
Yep.
So
Right.
then I can't win.
I agree.
And let's not even talk about in the dating process. You don't want a gold digger, but you lead with your
You
money.
leave with
Exactly.
your money or your car or your car keys or
Right.
what you do. Oh,
What
I
you
agree.
wearing, you
With-
lead with all
and-
of this,
and
but
I'm-
you don't want to go there.
And I'm gonna say
Exactly.
this, and I think women have figured this out, fellas. When we leave with our money, the conversation ain't that great. When we leave with our money, the physical might not be that great, and we have very
It's usually not.
our insecurity is at a high
Yeah.
level when we lead with our money.
Insecurity shows.
And when you can't get a woman with your money and you mad, that's a sign there's something wrong with you. That's the only thing you got. You know that.
To me, when I think about when I see men who lead with money, they have nothing else.
That's true.
This is all they got. Their money's tied to their ego,
Yeah.
and this is all they have to offer.
It's a shame that great sex come with poor bank account.
Because that's what he got.
That's what he got.
He going
That's
strong.
what he got.
You know what I'm
He's
saying?
been, he's been
Listen,
studying
they-
for that test all week.
Right. At your desk, broke as a joke,
Giving
smiling all
it to
day.
you, boy.
Hey.
Give it to you.
Right.
Listen, he been
Homosexual,
studying.
he needs somewhere to
All
He been
day
studying
long.
all day
He needs somewhere to
long. Yeah, he
lay.
needs somewhere to lay. He gonna
He
do all
got,
that.
he got to put it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
And unfortunately, many of us fall for that.
But wait a minute, but is it not now? If I'm gonna say it this way, because remember recently the dude that went to the chick that drove from New Mexico to
Oh,
Pittsburgh,
that video.
picked the dude up, went back to New Mexico, and in 2 weeks she put him out because he ain't want to do nothing. In my opinion, she wanted some D. She was hoping he was a good dude. He was talking trash. For you to come get me from New Mexico, you was talking coke, just trash to her, as far as sexually and what he could do or what kind of man he is.
Well, okay, so we
It ain't
don't
always gotta be about that though.
right. We don't really know why
That's Dr. Driving
she went
Force.
and picked him up from. She
Mhm.
picked him up from New Mexico.
From
Oh,
Pittsburgh
from
Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh,
but
took
he
him
was-
to
but-
New
but-
Mexico.
Right, but he was relocating there.
with
There was
her.
with her, but see, it was a deeper conversation, just getting some deep.
Right.
It was,
Much
no,
deeper conversation.
no,
They've
I
been
agree with
talking
that.
for a while. They've been talking for some months. They might have
With some
started a
substance.
relationship over the phone or video
Correct.
or something
I
like
got you.
that.
Right.
And she may not have asked the right questions because
Right.
I don't know what turned around in the 2 weeks. He could have came and
She
he
said
might
he
have
didn't do
done
nothing.
something
He
in that
didn't
2
wanna-
weeks.
He didn't
just
want to
wanna
get
lay
no job.
around,
Right. He
and
wanted
she
to lay
might have
around.
known he didn't have a job, but then he didn't want to look for a job.
Right.
She made life too comfortable for
Right.
him. He's like, man, I ain't moving for a good little minute. I
Right.
just
She
got
doing
here.
good. I'm
Just
gonna
got
right.
here.
Job. Well, who getting
I'm
the
gonna get
job?
myself together. But
Right.
she wanted him to come in, rip roaring, ready to go,
Right.
find a job and take
Insta
care of me.
And he was
It's the
right.
family.
And he
Add
wasn't
water.
doing that,
No,
right?
he's a lazy dude. He was
Yeah.
a
So it was-
homosexual. That's what he was.
People
Right.
need to stop thinking that
Right.
that it's all about sex, and it's
Yeah.
really not.
None of it has to do with sex.
It's not.
Can't say none of it though.
No.
It does not have to do with sex. We keep talking
No.
about this sexualized society.
It is sexualized.
It is sexualized.
And the men and the women are sexualized.
Yes,
Okay.
but it is sexualized. But when you get into the crux of a relationship,
It's deeper.
it's so much deeper than sex.
Much deeper.
Because if it was all about sex, we'd have a whole lot more divorces.
Exactly.
And it's not
But that's why
necessarily
people can't
because
get
it's not
together now.
good, but that's why people can't get together, because you're leading with that. You're
You
not
lead-
leading with money, you're
Yup.
leading
With
with sex. Y'all start, you get together, you're attracted to each other. And I just had a conversation like this with my mother about attraction
Yep.
and how society is so overly sexualized that we can't even have a genuine connection.
Connection.
Because it's all
Because
sexual.
every connection is
Yep.
not sexual.
But I'm just saying, and you're saying that the people they're looking for a sexual connection off the bat.
Yeah.
It
Just-
ain't not a conversation,
Right.
not something we
Right.
have in
Or not
common.
even just a friendship.
Every
just
conversation
every-
leads back to
even,
that.
even
Right.
now, I done had several conversations, even with men, two women that have a connection.
They probably fuck.
They probably fuck.
Mhm.
Why?
Why?
Because we
Right.
get along,
Right.
because we have a
Exactly.
connection,
Right.
because we like each other.
Right.
It has nothing to do with sex.
But-
And sometimes you have a connection with a man and it's not sexual.
I
He
agree.
might think it is in his
And
head.
I actually honestly think, first off, you know how I think about that. I really believe in platonic male-female relationships.
Yes.
The woman controls the friendship. We're talking about friendships.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the man might have wander, maybe, but for the most part,
Maybe,
the woman
perhaps.
controls the tempo though.
Yeah, but see, that whole conversation we keep having too about can a man and a woman
Be friends.
genuinely
You
be
can,
friends without?
definitely.
Yes,
Yeah, you can. I agree.
absolutely, hands down, and never
And
has
never
any
any
kind
kind
of
of-
That's
sexual
true.
innuendos or
I'm with you.
anything. We can,
I agree.
and it is definitely possible. I know firsthand it's possible.
I know because we get on the phone and talk
That's
for an
it.
hour.
Exactly.
And Ron might be right there while we giggling or talking
It
or whatever.
doesn't
It's not an issue.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with
And
you
you're
on that.
not my only friend.
Right.
and-
I'm not damn.
I mean, my only male friend. How can you think you're my only male? Be quiet. Anywho, but that's just, I don't understand what people's minds are.
But that's a
sometimes.
maturity level, and maturity don't have no age.
It is a certain level of maturity.
Yeah, I mean,
It is.
and it's not a certain age, it's like you said, it's maturity level.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because there's a bunch of guys out here, like I said, just like you said, they lead with their money. A
Mhm.
lot of them lead with their deed.
Yeah.
And that's all that they have. Every conversation comes back to that.
And
And I had a girlfriend of mine that the guy was trying to get with her. And every conversation was like, it just, every time he comes up, he says something,
right. Sexual.
even though she's almost there, I'm gonna give him a chance. Then he
And then-
comes out the gate with something
Yeah.
sexual.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
Instead
said,
of
she, right. And he has even asked her out on a date. I'm like,
huh? I'm gonna say this, gentlemen.
that's just the weak part to me. It's like
Yeah.
you trying to get with this person
Yeah.
and you haven't even said, you know what? Can I take you out to dinner?
Right.
Right. I'm
Be a man.
y'all tell me if I'm wrong, ladies, but I'm gonna say this, gentlemen. In
I'm
my
gonna look at my
opinion,
notes. I'll
in
go through
my
notes in a minute. Because
all right, in my opinion, specifically what you talking about, Dana, the less you talk about sex, the closer you'll be to it with a woman. The less you constantly bringing it up. I mean, the more you constantly bringing it up, the less chance that it's going to be turning her on, unless she's talking about it with you. If she's getting into that's something different. But more likely than not, she's trying to get to know you. And for a woman, it's the relaxation of the mind. It's making her feel comfortable about the situation. It's making her feel comfortable about you. It's making her want to be around you and making her want to be around you in a happy way, in a, oh, he cool, he chill, he not a hands-on way all the time. Hands-on will come when she ready.
well, kind of, sort of, maybe.
Okay,
Not
listen.
necessarily that you don't have the conversation, because we're not going to sit here and act like these things don't come up,
Right.
right?
And you got to
And-
know that you're both interested in the same thing.
Right, because
Okay.
that's the whole art of flirting.
Yes. Yes,
People flirt.
I agree.
And we're not going to sit here and something happening and we're not going to discuss it. Like we're going to sit, and I think maybe you and me even had, like, if my titty's out,
Oh,
right?
Lord.
And you like, we not going, I'm just saying,
I'm
we're not
Lord.
going to sit here and act like my titty's not out.
Right.
You
Right,
know?
no,
So there's,
I agree.
we,
Yeah,
and you can be
yeah,
like,
I'm
you be
with you.
like, you know what? You're a distraction right now. We're not talking about that. We're not gonna sit here and act like you ain't got your stuff out.
Right.
And I'm supposed to ignore this.
Yeah,
How am I supposed
we
to
sitting here
act?
trying, yeah, how am we gonna, I agree. And women know, because men are physical, we like, and they, so if the titties out and we cross the table, we gotta talk about the titties for a few minutes.
I mean, you can say
But it might be something small or
so my thing is you can say something about it, but it doesn't have to be because just because my cleavage is showing don't mean
we gotta have a whole
we
sex
gotta
talk.
have a whole sex
But
talk.
men,
Right.
It's
right.
it's not
I
an
agree.
invitation.
but I think the level of conversation is just so different now.
Yeah.
It's a shame because a man will say, "Hey, you know, I'm thinking about you." See
Right.
this? That's not cute.
No, not
That's
at all.
not attractive,
Not at
and
all.
that's not a come
Not
on.
at all.
That's nothing. That's not pretty.
No.
And if you're trying to attract a woman
Right.
just for the
Mhm.
sex, go for what you know. That's
Right.
what you're gonna get. But if
Right.
you want something of substance with a
Right.
woman,
Mhm.
going by that and say, you know, I'm thinking about you tonight. Hey, see this?
Right.
That's not
That's
romance.
not. That's
But
not.
but on what you just said, you could actually tell a woman, I was thinking about you tonight. And she gonna be like, what you thinking about? Don't say nothing sexual. The conversation we had, your haircut.
You can tell how the way it's going.
Right.
Right.
I'm with you, lady.
And we try to bring y'all back.
Mhm.
I had a
Every
conversation.
time.
I had to bring this conversation up because I text, I'm gonna find it between me and this guy.
Mhm.
And I tried to bring it back. I even asked my older daughter, I said, where did I go wrong in this conversation with this man? I have to find it. Y'all go ahead. But I'm gonna find this conversation.
Okay.
What I wrote my notes on
Mhm.
was basically because when you told us what we were talking about, you said, what do women really want from men?
Mhm.
And I was like, the same thing we always want.
Mhm.
And you like,
It
well,
ain't
what is
changed.
that? Because I mean, nothing has changed about
Right.
that.
Well, okay, so I agree, but there's a, how can I put it? It's a gap between men and women and how we think. So the men don't
Yeah.
necessarily know. So in that, the Young Jock video, as well as the three brothers in the car, and the one brother was chastising for not taking care of his child.
Mhm.
The comments of those two videos for men
Mhm.
lets us know exactly what women want. That was my point. I was bringing it back to those videos because
It lets us
it
know
with-
exactly what men think women want.
no. The comments by women on those videos
Oh, I
allowed
didn't read the comments.
allowed men to know exactly what, for the most.
Not really, because you have women responding to that, to what
Right.
he said.
Right.
It's not a serious conversation. We responding to this idiot saying what he was saying.
Right, but a lot of men think the way them idiots think.
I mean, yeah, but what you're saying is you could tell what women are looking for based on what they said, not based on me
And
responding
you
to
gotta
somebody.
understand too, the responses you get,
Mhm.
like you said, Coco and I, 50 plus.
Right.
We ain't never heard of even try to see the conversation.
Right.
So what demographic was responding to his foolishness?
Even when we get to the
True.
conversation about building together
Mhm.
and all of this stuff, at 52,
It ain't but so much building
I
going
need you
on.
built.
I need you with the full, I need a pension and 401k
I need
to
you
get
with
some
some-
security.
What have you been doing for
Doing.
your whole 50?
No, and wait a
years?
minute, that's the problem. Now we can get into that. That's the problem with Black men specifically. You ask a lot of it, what have we been doing? So we went over some stuff Young Jock was saying. So his brother's just coming home off a long bit.
Well, I was getting ready to say, if I'm in agreement with you and you've had some challenges
you should deal
and
with
I'm
the
okay
challenges. Right.
Then
with
that's
the
different.
challenges that you've had,
Right.
that's different. I'm not judging nobody. I know some guys came home from what you say, a bid,
Mhm.
and they did some time and they found them a good woman
Right.
and they went with that woman and then they started the process of getting their lives together. And even a lot of them have
Yep.
come up and
Yeah,
surpassed
surpassed.
so many
Dudes
men
that been
who've
home.
been home the
I
entire
agree.
time.
I
So if you've been home the entire time, okay, I want to know what you've done with your life. But
Right.
if you've had some challenges, some people are former addicts.
Right.
Mhm.
Some people have been locked up.
Mhm.
Some people, there's a number of things that could have happened. If I'm okay
Just
with
divorce,
those
period.
things, divorce,
Yeah.
if I'm okay with those things and we get together, you still need to act
You still need to
accordingly.
produce.
You can't come with me and then you still
Do
in
nothing.
the streets
Right.
and
Exactly.
throwing bricks at the pen like you trying to go back in. You
Right.
home now, get out of your head, get your shit together, and let's do this if we're gonna do it together. But outside of those things, you need to be built up.
Now,
Exactly.
Now I'll say, piggybacking on what you just
I
said,
know how to build.
I was taking notes on how to change, because you're basically talking about changing your mindset to be a better person. And in my opinion, you should be in that mindset before you get in a relationship. You know you a street dude, but you want to change. Make that change. Don't
Yeah,
lean
stop
on,
making your
don't
change.
lean on a woman to help you
To
make
help
that
you
change,
Yeah.
because it's on you.
Yes.
That's
definitely.
it's on you to make that.
Personally, it's
Yeah.
on you.
So your environment can help, but more likely than not, you're gonna lose friends.
Well,
You-
to some degree, to those men's credit,
Mhm.
a lot of men, depending on the woman that you attract, you've already started making those changes.
True.
Mhm.
I agree. And that comes in when you're talking about
Because you can't give me, you
relationships
just
that
got
are
out yesterday.
right, but
Right.
right.
You're
I'm
not
with you.
ready.
You
But
can't.
that comes with when y'all were talking about personalized relationships and knowing what baggage that person comes with. That's a conversation, and then you get to sit back and see them work on whatever they're
Mhm.
supposed to be working
And it's
on.
conversations if you're being honest.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
that's
a
true,
lot of
too.
people lie. You're not
Yeah.
being.
You're
who
presenting who you
are.
think I
You're
want you to be.
presenting
Right.
who you think. Now, the one thing I will say about men, y'all don't know. You gotta be this high to ride this ride, and y'all don't even care. Y'all can look any kind of way.
Yeah.
You can smell any kind of way.
Yeah. And we
You
think we
can
can
talk
have.
you got it. Go. I can pull her. What?
That's every man. I laugh at that because that's true. You could have a man that's homeless and you walk by looking or smelling
he
nice.
will
He gonna
holler
try
at
to,
you.
hey, you like good, like, how you
Absolutely.
doing?
But
Absolutely.
it goes by self-esteem as well. And
Yeah.
he's gonna target himself for the woman that
You know,
has low self-esteem. He gonna go. for her.
no,
Perhaps
no,
no.
that's
He go
not
after
true.
any woman.
Anyone.
Not.
Them real,
Yeah.
them showing up bums and
Guys
be,
will
She's
go
lacking.
after her.
If
he
right,
not gonna
yeah,
get
he
it.
gonna
If
holler.
if he'll
he'll
bite,
holler. He'll
if she
holler.
bites, then it tells him, oh, okay, she might.
If she
Okay,
smile, he
But
has
you're
it.
saying just approach her, period.
Yeah, not her
I got
reaction,
you.
not her
I
reaction.
got you. I'm sorry. I thought you meant pulling her all the way.
No.
I'm like,
No.
To approach a woman, men
You got
don't
that. You gotta
care.
have heart.
They
oh,
don't
he got
care.
hard.
You
Got
got
They
that way.
approach him broke,
You know you stink.
stink, all kinds of things.
Hey,
They
baby.
will
Yeah, I got
approach you. Yeah, they will approach you.
I got you there.
Now, whether you receive him is a whole nother story. But back to my notes now.
I'm listening.
One thing that you said what women really want from men,
Mhm.
security. And it doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to protect you. That's not necessarily.
That's actually should be last, but I'm listening.
We're talking about, it doesn't have to be physical security.
Right.
We're talking about emotional,
Mhm.
no toxic energy. We don't bring me no bad news. You're protecting me,
Me.
my mental, my
Mhm.
physical, my emotional, all of that. You're not going to come and be like, baby, I done gambled the house away.
Yeah.
That's not security.
My security is me giving me a good night's sleep.
That's
Right.
right. But what you just said, which happens,
Mhm.
happens.
I come home, lights out. But
That
I thought you
happens.
paid the light.
That's
Right.
automatically, even though he's in the house, that's automatically putting everything on you, and he there.
Mhm. Absolutely.
If he fails, like you
Absolutely.
say, if he takes the responsibility of certain things and he
Mhm.
fails,
Mhm.
and he doesn't come through,
Right.
he's really waiting for you to come through. Or
Yeah.
he knows it, or he knows, look, baby, I know this couple
Don't
days,
bring me-
everything will come
Exhaust all of your
right
resources
before you bring it to you.
before
Yep.
you bring it to me.
Right.
Don't bring me that mess. That's security.
Y'all listening to me? All right, wait a minute. I want to piggyback on the security
Mm-hmm.
real quick. So what I was saying by physical security is last, meaning even in a bad situation, her security is more important than you fighting or defending somebody. Meaning, oh, they getting a little rowdy in here, baby. We about to
Mhm.
leave.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, you see that over there? Yeah, tell your folks bye. We out of here.
Right.
That's leadership.
Make her comfortable
Right.
with you. Like
Right.
we can't be in a place. Don't take me to a place and you know you nervous.
Right.
You nervous?
We
You
both-
nervous to the dudes?
We both will be nervous. I can't depend on you.
Exactly.
That's that's a problem. So the next thing,
Mhm.
communication.
Definitely.
Communication.
Mhm.
You have to talk. You can't shut down when we need to have a conversation.
And a lot of men shut down when it gets serious.
When it get very serious, they shut down.
Yeah, I agree.
You cannot shut down when we're supposed to be having a conversation.
Right.
There's some things here we have to talk about. I've seen people break up just because they hadn't had a conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
A
I've seen-
simple conversation could have saved
Everything.
everything.
But that's a lot of ego.
a lot of ego.
It's a lot of
yes,
ego.
absolutely.
Don't nobody want to be wrong. Even if
Yeah.
you know you're wrong, I
Yeah.
don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of ego. That definitely.
Leadership.
Okay.
You can't be indecisive, unsure. You have to set an example. You have to be
Lead
a
by
leader.
example.
Lead by example.
Yep.
If you don't want me doing certain things, you don't want me hanging out in the street at the clubs.
There we go.
But where are
That's
you?
great. Right.
Right.
What are we right?
What you doing?
Don't do as right. Do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
Somebody told me this years ago. And I always remembered it because his the lady he was dealing with at the time wound up getting pregnant by somebody he knew,
Mm,
but he was ripping and running.
exactly.
So his conclusion was, and I live by this to this day.
Mhm.
She got as much time as you got.
That's it. If you never home,
she
what you
she
think she doing?
she free too.
There's a song
She
about that.
free.
Who's creeping out with your old lady while you out creeping behind mine or something like that? There's some
You out
song
in
about it.
1970.
I did. I
You were
went
all
back.
the way back
I
to
did. I had one person in the corner that do the song. No, that's good. I'm good now.
you were all, but and see that's the whole thing. If you got time, she got time. If you
Exactly.
never home,
She can
she
right.
got time.
Look,
She know what time you coming home
Mhm.
usually because you
She
don't
definitely
usually
do.
come home.
Uh-huh.
But she's worked up to this point though.
Yeah.
By the time she's starting to do something, you
yeah,
it's
you
been
really
a good run.
yeah,
you
you
had
real
a good
relaxed
run.
in your ignorance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I
real
agree.
relaxed in your ignorance, and she already knows.
I agree.
So
Go
the
ahead.
next thing is attention.
Okay.
Focus, give her time, be present, and prioritize her.
Celebrate her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Celebrate her.
So
That's
define
usually-
that because you're grinning right now. Define celebrate her.
I
in-
just
in a couple
celebrate-
of small ways. Just a couple of small
Celebrate
ways.
her as far as know that you're proud to have her as
As
your
your
woman.
I got
Mhm.
you.
You know, it can be as small as, I mean, in today's realm, it can be as small as a Facebook post of recognition. It could be just knowing that, being so proud of your woman on your arm, you know, just
Know your
celebrate her.
audience.
Know
Right.
your
Know
audience.
her.
I was
Know
getting
who
ready to
she
say
is.
that. Know what she likes.
Mhm.
Know
Yeah.
that she don't necessarily like flowers,
Yeah.
but she
Yeah.
might like.
But know her, we talk about love language, know her love language.
Yes.
Be in tune with her. Be in tune with her
What does
body
it for her?
language. Your woman should be able to be in a room full of people, right?
Mhm.
And she's sitting, and you like, all right, she ready to go.
Right.
I
Yeah.
already
You should
know.
be able to peep that.
She
I
she
agree.
made that face.
She
She ready to
ready.
go.
Mhm.
You should know that
Yeah, you should
because
know.
she's
I
your
agree.
woman.
Now, I posted something last week, and it was kind of that where it was a guy getting escorted out of a bar because I guess he was in an altercation,
Mhm,
and he was arguing as he backing up.
mhm,
So say we at a table together,
mhm.
and he backing up, he going to bump the table, and he might even bump the woman, but he definitely going to bump the table. The woman actually she turned to her dude and looked, you know what I mean? She like went inward to him, and all he did was do like that, made sure the dude didn't bump the table. The dude looked, he went, you know what I mean? Just something small.
I was watching, I forget who it was. I was watching some guys, they was having conversations, something on YouTube. And he said that you can tell a dude by the way his woman reacts,
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
by the way she reacts.
To him.
If he going off and she just like, you already know he a punk. He just popping shit right now.
Right.
You already know.
He said this 3 times last week.
Right. But if she gets scared, like I don't know what he's
Yeah,
about to
he
do.
about that work.
He about that work,
Yeah.
and you probably should move out of the way.
Right. I
And,
agree.
yeah. And so
But
he
she
was
can also,
saying
but
that
a woman also has that ability also to pull her man back as well.
sometimes.
Some-
And sometimes, unless she's too far gone, sometimes.
Yeah.
you can, you know,
Sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of
Right.
times the woman will
Right.
bring him back
Right.
because he understands.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this to men: when you're that far and it clicks to you that either your woman,
Mhm.
or your
Because if it's women, we
children
got a problem, it's another issue.
or children
Right.
are with you,
Yeah.
that should bring you back
Yeah.
because you can't
That
defend
should
them.
keep you calm.
Right.
Right.
You can't look out for them
Right.
while you beefing with somebody.
Right.
Even
Right.
if it's an argument,
Right.
You don't know what's going on over here. You don't know what's going on. You're concentrating on the whoever you have issue with.
Right.
That should be, it ain't worth it, bro. I'm gone.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's leadership, whether you understand it or not. That's
putting family first.
That's protection. That's
Mhm.
putting the family first. That's putting your woman's safety first.
Right.
And that's a turn on to most women.
And also, and see, that comes to what I just said, and being calm, mastering your energy,
Mhm.
your own energy, mastering it, have self-control
Self-control. I agree.
about yourself. Because some people just fly off the handle for no reason. You fly off the
The handle full.
Yeah.
Because they're
I
not in
agree.
control.
Something very small.
And they have, and that's their insecurity being,
that's your
you know,
That's what it be
Insecurity
most times. It be
Yeah.
insecurity.
It's like his insecurity.
You just
shown.
fussing over nothing.
fussing over nothing.
Yeah. I was riding down the street, me and my daughter, a couple weeks ago, I guess now. In the city, we was going down Mulberry Street. And there was a girl pushing the stroller, and I mean, it was a nice day outside, and they were just going along. And next thing I know, this guy, he just turned around and wham, just two-pieced her.
Wow.
And she just started just feeling, she started looking for her earring, because he knocked the earring out. And the baby just sitting in the stroller like this was
Right.
regular
The norm.
Tuesday.
This is the norm.
Baby just
Normal
sitting there,
day.
regular old Tuesday. And she wasn't
She wasn't
sure.
shook.
Earring.
She-
She wasn't that shook, not
Right.
at all. She didn't start fighting. She didn't
Or
start
running.
screaming,
Right.
running. She was just kind of like, oh, my
Yep.
earring.
And they're gonna be in the same
You
bed
know,
that
and
night.
they gonna be in the same bed that night. That
Yep.
was horrible.
That's crazy.
And my daughter was devastated. Oh my God, mommy, did you see what he did to her? We should stop. I'm not stopping.
Oh, ain't your business.
You don't stop.
We're not doing
And
that.
she don't want 911.
She don't want 911.
No, she don't want
None of
911.
them wanted
She looking for
nothing.
her earring. She
She looking
fine.
for her earring, and when she find it, she gonna be okay.
And she might
they
get them
gonna
back
go
later.
home.
She might
Right.
get them back later. It might be
Maybe.
that kind of
Maybe.
turmoil.
I don't know. I'm a fighter. I'm sorry. You know, and I said balance and have some drive about you. Like the guy who went to New Mexico. He laid up, he not doing nothing. He ain't trying to hustle. It is this day and age, and I had to
You can
have
sell
this
it.
conversation
I'm
with
with
my nephew. It's so many things you can do.
Mhm.
It is no reason,
To
absolutely
have
zero
no money.
reason why you home broke.
But then the whole thing would have ended up differently if he had taken initiative. I have a problem with her going
To get them.
to get him.
Yeah.
First of all, as a man, you shouldn't want to have your woman drive that far
Right.
for safety issues, period.
Right.
Yeah,
But she went there to get him.
Greyhound bus.
Baby, I'm
It
coming
would have
to
been cheaper
you.
than the gas.
Yes.
It would have been cheaper than the gas.
Right, she should have, he said, baby, I'm coming to you.
Because I don't
bags
know
and
how
all.
far that ride is, but it seems
It's like
pretty
you
far.
going through like 5 states.
That's some days, right?
Yeah.
Or at least a day.
It's at least a day.
Or you mean driving?
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
minimum
she
of a
drove
day
over
driving.
8 hours, period.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
But
yeah.
You know-
Safety issues to come get me, first
But,
of all. And then you only got for so many nights before I'm getting up, going out, and you still home.
Right. She gave him 2 weeks. She put him out the sun.
Yeah.
You gotta
it's-
go.
It's done.
But we've set the bar so low, unfortunately, that we see things now. I saw a TikTok the other day and people are blowing it up and we're so amazed by it and so thrilled by it and felt it was a big thing. The guy opens, it's part of a movie. The guy opens the door, they're coming out of a restaurant, opens the door for the woman, of course. She comes out the door. So he comes around behind her and nicely just guides her to the other side so he can be on the street side,
Mhm.
which is right. But he never said a word. But they blew this on like, this is our standard now. This is what means a lot to us now.
Because if you're
They
not
expect
getting it, it'd be the little stuff. We were just talking about learning your woman and learning her love language.
Right, but it's sad that we've gotten to that point that just
That
because
it's not
him
getting
taking
done.
right, it's not being
That's,
done.
but it's not getting, let's be honest.
Because y'all not teaching these young,
Bam, the father's not there.
they're not.
And by the
teaching
time you come across a young man, you're not necessarily teaching him etiquette on how to treat a woman. You either may be dealing with his own personal issues that he's having, or if I'm an elder, if I'm in my 30s or 40s and he in his late teens or 20s and my mind not mature, I'm still talking about the stuff he wants
Because
to
you'll
talk
still
about.
teach him how to be players.
Right, I'm with you.
You know, I have a
I'm
friend of
with you.
mine, he was mad at his son. The son got caught He said, my son and my daughter-in-law are beefing right now.
Mhm.
He said, my son was just dumb. He said, just dumb. He said, why wouldn't you clear your phone out? I'm like,
Right.
before you get home, like, that's the lesson.
That's the problem.
That's the lesson.
Right.
That's the lesson.
Now,
You're
wait,
the problem, sir.
right. That's what, and that's what it is. It's a
Yeah.
lot of,
You know, the
that's
son
real.
is grown.
Right.
I get it, but that was the lesson. Why didn't you clear your phone out before you got in the house? You know?
Yeah, I know, no, and that's the problem.
Mhm.
The problem is when we're by ourselves, men.
Y'all talk a bad game when you up against something.
Right. But
trying to live in that shit.
when we're together, we're in that ignorant place. In many of us are in that ignorant place as
Mhm.
far as cheating and not being, and it's just there with the elders and the young ones. So that's the issue. And you actually have to, men, when we're talking about change and we're talking about doing better, whatever part of life you at, you have to be around people with the mindset that you're thinking about having.
Mhm.
You're not changing hustling until you get away from the hustlers.
Right, you can't talk about I'm not hustling no more. Meanwhile,
But I'm going to hang in the hood
you
every day.
hanging out at the hood
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the hustlers.
It's a mentality.
But it's so crazy that the women talk and we're
Mhm.
all good friends and stuff like that when we're together. And we'll be in a group setting. The men be talking, and you can see the women looking at their men like, that's
Right?
coming out your mouth. That's such bull crap because
Mhm.
that's not the way
That's
he's
not
carrying
you.
it.
That's not
at home.
you.
They
Right?
talking a whole different game in public.
Some guys like to play too,
They do.
and so they're joking and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like I have this thing when I with my husband, I go to the door and I stand there and wait for him to come to the door because if I'm ahead of him.
Right.
And so we went somewhere and I went to the door, stood at the door, and he came up to the door and he stood at the door. And the lady looked like, what y'all doing? He said, well, I was wondering why she was standing looking at the door. So I stood and looked at the door. Knowing darn
Right.
well he gonna open the door.
Right, but that's how
Yeah.
y'all play. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like guys sit up there talking about, yeah, you need to treat women a certain kind of way,
Uh-huh.
knowing they don't.
Don't
Or
you dare
man,
woman
we
that
got to
way.
do this with our financing, knowing he got $1.25 in his
Mhm.
pocket,
Yeah.
and ain't got no credit or nothing like that. I'm saying perpetrating a fraud,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Not kidding around, just perpetrating a fraud.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I agree. And you will see not just his lady, you might see the kids like, what daddy talking about?
You couldn't even buy me a Happy Meal.
Mhm. I didn't
What
do that.
daddy talking about?
Yeah, you couldn't even buy me a
don't
raw
never
fish
do that.
fillet.
But
don't
I
get
but
money.
I will say this, because we got about 10 minutes. All right, let me say this. As far as men, Black men specifically, we are behind. Not all, not most. It's enough.
Many.
It's enough to affect the community on a whole.
Mhm.
So when you talk about change, when you talk about what women are looking for and things of that nature, they're looking for, first off, this was a good conversation. We definitely gave a whole bunch of examples, but you have to use your energy to do better
Mhm.
in you listen, you might be 30 years old on a 6th grade reading level,
Mhm.
and many Black men are.
Enhance your masculine energy. First of all, change your mindset. If you
Right.
change your mindset,
You got to
you
define
change
that
your
though. Because
whole
some
life.
masculine
What
energy to
masculine
some
energy?
is just this.
Oh, masculine energy. Not what was that TV show and the man used to be like, like that's men stuff.
Right,
not
right.
that.
The handyman.
Yes,
dude.
the handyman. When
Yeah.
he's like man stuff.
Right.
No, not that. We're not talking about that, and not just you can fix stuff.
Mhm.
Not just.
It's not just your bark.
It's not your bark. It's
Right.
not.
It's how you
It doesn't
move.
have anything to do with brute.
Right.
It's how you move. The way
How
you
you
handle
operate.
yourself.
Yup.
How you operate. Do you operate with integrity? Are
Right.
you standing
That
in your
part.
truth?
Mm.
Those things. And when you exude masculine energy, it gives her an opportunity to enhance her feminine energy.
Right.
And it brings balance to the whole situation. So these are the things that we have to think about when we're talking about being in relationships.
Right.
Yes. And we can't be scared of the conversations, because we'll get into relationships or situationships without having concrete conversations because we just enjoying our feelings right now. We're enjoying
Right.
the time that we're
But
having.
be balanced, because also be vulnerable, because you have some men that still in men don't cry, that sort of thing. I mean,
Man, there was
I
some
don't want no
bull crap about men
whimpering
don't wash their
somebody.
tail because they're scared of being homosexual.
That ain't me. That ain't
I
me.
saw that video.
I wash my ass.
That is the
I'm
dumbest
raising my
thing.
hand.
I'm like,
What?
what is going on? Y'all got Eric
You
and
need
they
to
only
turn
talk about
around.
washing butts.
You need to turn around, open your butt, let that water run down
Hot
there,
water with
okay?
soap, washcloth, all
soap.
that.
Washcloth, you need a,
Mhm.
But I'm like,
Please.
But they acting like you
So-
washing your butthole like this with a washcloth.
But
No,
how-
washing it like
but
that.
how do people with no washcloth?
Wash their
they
butt.
do with soap. Just basically do.
They
with
take
soap.
And
the
they
whole,
hand.
the bar soap?
Yeah.
No, they can't
Oh.
take the butt. It's gotta be lather on their hand. You
I'm
think they
so-
just
I'm so
you think they just
Take
running the soap?
Run the soap up. Oh my God, that's horrible.
New bar, please. New bar. I need a new
Ooh,
bar.
see, that's why you can't be using folks soap.
Yeah,
You
no.
can't be using folks soap.
Let's do liquid
That's
soap.
nasty.
But
That's nasty.
Oh man.
but you gotta be. I admire the men that aren't so worried about their sexuality or what they're perceived as sexuality and are free out there having fun,
Right.
dancing,
Right.
having a good time, and not worried
Mhm.
about is this little gay? Who
Right.
gives a
But-
damn?
but
I heard a young
Gay.
man say he didn't eat cake
or bananas.
Yeah.
because
That's listen, that's insecure.
So
It's
stupid.
highly insecure, but it's a fad. It's something that
you can't
remember
eat hot dogs.
you can't say glizzy, you can't eat a hot dog, all of that.
Glizzy.
it was- they were
we
playing-
determined Glizzy was a hot dog.
Glizzy is a hot dog, a gun, or a penis, depending on how you use it. Think about the shapes. So it could be either, it could be any of them, depending on how you use it.
Oh, okay.
So that's why when you eat a hot dog, you got that glizzy. It's a hot dog, but they acting like it's something else.
Right.
That's the joke.
Y'all-
That's-
y'all
but
made
that's
a
how
whole lot of
insecure it
things
is.
It's too much to think
Y'all
about.
did.
It's too much
Y'all,
to think about.
it's so much of the blame game. Because if I see
with you on
one
that.
more video about, yeah, look how the men dress down, they try to take away our mask. Can't nobody take away your masculinity but you.
Except you.
I don't care what Jerome over there
That's
doing,
not-
wearing a dress.
I kind of disagree with you. But
It
let
ain't
me
got nothing to
explain.
do with you.
No. Let me explain. Let me
Let
explain.
him do him.
Let me explain.
Go ahead.
That can happen in that we're talking about men stepping up. So if you have a young man, I'm gonna tell a story that I heard. I was eavesdropping. I had a gout flare years ago. I was at the ER. So it was two women in there. Real quick. Yeah, real quick. Two women in there. They giggling about a story. So I'm listening to the story. So they had her son was there. He might have been 2 or 3. No, I take that back. He was 4 or 5 because he was supposed to be potty trained already. The father was over the house. His mother was there, and the baby mother was there. So he walked by the bathroom, and the
father's
little boy,
mother?
the father's mother was there. The little boy was sitting on the toilet taking a urinating, and the father went off. Why is my son sitting down and he going up? They giggling while they telling the story, and the only thing I could think of is that was your job.
You didn't.
That's how
stand up.
that's how boys can become masculine
Mhm.
because they're only around women, so they tend to have tendencies of who they're around.
I get that. But what they got to do with your masculinity? Y'all up here fussing about
What other dudes
what
do.
other
Is that
dudes
what the
do or what
toxic
other dudes are
masculinity
wearing.
come in? Is that where the toxic? Because I've heard the
Uh,
new term toxic masculinity.
I
Right.
guess, but they're worried about if Jerome out here wearing something that Derek don't feel is right for him.
Right.
What they got
Why,
to do
why I
with
need to
that?
have a whole conversation on.
You know, y'all trying to do this, trying to do. It's a whole bunch of deflection
Mm-hmm.
on
instead
other,
of worrying
bigger
about
issues.
right. If you worry
Yeah.
about what you doing, I can't talk about a lot of other women being toxic or doing this unless Dana get her stuff right.
Right.
Oh yeah, we do
Right.
deflect.
Right.
Oh, we
So I'm so
deflect.
worried about they doing this and doing that. Worry about you. Worry about
Worry about
yourself,
yourself.
as the kids say.
What about
Yeah.
yourself?
And then
Yeah.
once you get yourself together,
Right.
then you can try to get other people together. But unless you together, you can't do it.
I agree. I agree.
You
But
know?
but like I said, men do deflect, and I'm gonna say folks that maybe have issues deflect. I'm not gonna say necessarily just men, but people that have issues and don't want to face their own person, they're always gonna have something to say about somebody else, hoping don't nobody get to their BS.
People too scared to mind. People be talking about mind your own business. It costs nothing to mind your own business, but minding your own business also means to mind your business because you can't be worried
Ooh.
about
That's deep.
what I'm doing over here
That's deep.
if you have any concerns about something I'm doing. People, it was a conversation saying, what irritates you? Nothing. Nothing somebody else does irritate me.
Not anymore. I don't.
Yeah,
Because it don't
that's a
have
growth.
anything
You
to do
got
with
you got to
me.
get there though.
You gotta get
You
there.
got to get there. I'm with you though.
I've always been. because I don't really care.
No, I've had to get there because sometimes other people after like, that's embarrassing. I'm like, why am I embarrassed for what she did?
Right.
It ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
That's not a reflection on me. Yeah, my kids, that's a little different story. I still feel a little iffy, but
Well,
but they grown
sometimes
now.
I done let that go too.
And I'm like,
'Cause my
when they were
girl-
children, I'm
Right.
like, that's my
Keep
responsibility.
going, I want to see something.
I done let that go
too.
too though,
Listen.
because my girl, she always, Mom, you're not wearing it because I don't like to dress up all the time. You can't go out with me like that, Mom. What do I have to do with you?
They can't hear you up there.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to hear you.
It's so hard to hear.
Don't nobody care about seeing everybody,
I do.
We don't.
but you're not on the other side.
Did you brush your teeth today? Did not worry about it. You brush your teeth. We good.
What the brush
Did
your
you
teeth
wash
got to
that-
do with the
did you get
video?
crust out your eye? So we
I
don't
might have.
like that.
I
like that.
don't.
I
Let's
do.
look at the top of our heads.
Huh?
But shouldn't they hear us?
They can. You don't think they can hear us? I know they can hear
Can y'all hear us?
us.
Somebody said something. See what
I got it. I got it in my phone. I'm looking.
Can they
I'm
hear
watching.
us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Let me know.
TikTok. Can y'all hear us TikTok?
Can y'all hear
I
us?
mean,
good?
Shelly, can you hear us? She laughed about something. Shelly or Trisha?
I like that view. We need all three of us. But either way,
It's
we need to
delayed.
get this over there. Yeah, it might be a delay. Yeah, it definitely might be a delay. But
Oh, Shelly said yes. Thank you, Shelly.
thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think this was a good conversation. I got out of it what I wanted to. I wanted to get onto some points because for the most part, what women want out of, what Black women want out of Black men is being responsible for the community. And that takes all forms, but the specifics are what you definitely ran down, Coco, as well as some of the things we just talked about. And it's nothing hard.
It is hard. It is a very heavy load. It is a heavy load.
I think
It
it's your
is-
mentality though.
It is your mentality, but it doesn't take away the fact that it's a heavy load. It is a heavy load to be a responsible person.
Yeah.
Just period. I had a conversation with this guy a long time ago.
Mhm.
I mean, you talking about somebody being an F up. He did it real good. And I know he was an intelligent guy. Everything he did. And I asked him, I said, why are you always, because it's always something.
Right.
And he said, well, he said, I can do better. He said, but when you don't, nobody expects nothing from you.
I agree.
Nobody,
that's
it makes
real.
life so much easier
That's true.
when nobody expects anything from you. When people, because when you're responsible, people expect
you to be responsible. You can't
They
come up
expect
short.
you to step up. You
Yeah.
can't come up short.
I agree.
You cannot be caught slipping, and that's a heavy load to bear.
Yeah.
But realizing how heavy that load is to bear, women ease up the load sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not, and we were reading something in one of the groups where the lady said to the guy, if you want to take me out on a date tonight, I need $250 for daycare for my kids.
Damn.
Right, I saw that. I saw that.
What?
Right. And he said, you want me to pay for your childcare and the date?
And the date.
And she said something to the fact that if you can't pay for that, then you shouldn't be dating or something like that. No, he said he planned a nice evening for them, and he didn't include an additional
Yeah,
$250 in the budget.
That's the whole day.
Right.
No, my bad. That's more than
That's
the
a
whole
couple
day.
dates.
But
That's a
I
couple
mean,
dates.
but let me tell you, it is, I mean, I don't have any
He said
small
it
children
wasn't in his
anymore,
budget.
but it would be nice if after the getting to know stage, before the initial date,
Mhm.
he said, baby, I'm gonna take you on a date. I'm gonna go ahead and order that pizza and be there at the door in a minute. I ordered a pizza for your kids while we go out to dinner. That's a nice gesture.
That's a nice gesture.
That's a nice
That's
gesture.
not $250 extra.
No, that's not you.
$20.
I'm saying that's a nice
I want
gesture.
to
I
say
agree
the
with you.
guy who secured the babysitter for me before even asking
Asking,
me.
right.
Because he didn't want that as an excuse.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
So
That's a
he
boss
called
man.
my sister,
Mhm.
asked my sister,
Good
would she
work.
watch the kids for
Mhm.
me?
Right.
And my sister was like, okay, and he paid her.
Mhm.
And so when he asked me, and I was like, I don't know if I ever said you gotta sit him.
Right.
Yep. That's a boss.
What's your
man.
excuse now?
Yeah, what you gonna do now?
What you gonna do? So I mean,
No, and that's just being that's showing that you're thinking about spending time.
mhm.
That's just showing that it's not gonna be.
that you're interested.
Yeah.
It's something you want to do. You want to give me your time.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that the woman has no responsibility. Someone be like, oh, he do everything. I'm just gonna.
Right.
Really?
Right.
You know him just like he should know you.
I agree.
You know, all of the
But see,
same
all of
things
that
you
is
mentioned.
time, and it's for
time.
some reason nowadays the time factor be short. It be, it's just what it be.
We don't
But
have a-
but I'll say this: when you get a certain age and you're dating, you might not know what you'll put up with, but you damn sure know what you're not
What
gonna
you
put up with.
won't put up
Oh,
with.
And
yeah.
you'll walk away. Oh, that's what they. Oh, you get that like that. Oh yeah, this is the last time we.
Like, yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
even. But that stuff you can get to by having a conversation.
Conversation.
Some people don't even have a conversation, or when they meet up, they're not talking about. Well, it depends on what you're looking for,
Yeah.
because a lot of people meet up and you have an interesting conversation.
Mhm.
You can talk to this person and it all runs really smooth, but you don't talk about those things.
Right.
There has to be a
Some good
time
topics.
where
Right.
you're talking about yourselves, when you're talking about the things that you want in your life. I mean, first date is too soon to think about, okay, what I want out of a husband and all of that, because
Right.
we don't know if that's what we want right now. If two people want a serious relationship, that's great to know on the first date, because then we know what we're talking about here. We
Right.
know if we want to have a serious relationship, if we want to entertain the idea of having a serious relationship. But sometimes people scare people away. Oh, she wants a serious relationship. Oh, run.
No, then that's
You're
good.
50, you
See
ain't
you
got
later.
time for that.
Yeah, right.
But
But if he ready to
dodge that
run, let
bullet.
him go.
Let
Right.
him go.
Let him go.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
listen,
I agree.